Hey, what's going on YouTube? Today I'm going to show you my beginner stamina warden, also known as Stamden, build for the Deadlands DLC patch. As a part of the beginner setup series, I'll be focusing on a starting rotation and gear that are easily accessible. For the sake of this theme and to be as new player friendly as possible, I'll be avoiding mythics, arena weapons, trial, or dungeon gear. Furthermore, the rotation for many classes will be simplified. This build is capable of pulling over 79k on the parse dummy and is viable for most starting content. The build specializes in normal group content such as trials, vet dungeons, and group arenas. This build works great in overland but is not specifically designed for it. So starting off in the character sheet, I have 64 points in the stamina and I'm running the Thief Mundus. For this particular build, I am a Dark Elf. Other alternatives include Khajiit, Orc, and maybe even Wood Elf would be fine. So for food, we're going to be running the RTM Takeaway Broth for most hard content. A cheaper and just as good alternative will be Dubious Cameron Throne, and if you need more sustain or you're parsing, Lava Foot Soup and Salt Rice is always the go-to. Moving on to potions, for this particular build we're going to be using Essence of Weapon Power. I believe Essence of Weapon Power have 3 really important buffs for stamina DPS. These include Major Brutality, Major Savagery, and Major Endurance. Furthermore, these potions do cost a little bit, so make sure you have 3 points in the medicinal use from the Alchemy skill line to ensure that the buffs last a full duration. So for CP, we're going to be running Backstabber, Deadly Aim, Master at Arms, and Fighting Finesse. For the red tree, we're going to be running Bloody Renewal, Rejuvenation, Fortified, and Boundless Vitality. Moving on to gear, we're going to be running New Moon Acolyte Daggers, Nirnhoned with a Flame Damage enchant, and Charged with a Poison Damage enchant. On our back bar, we have a New Moon Acolyte Greatsword, infused with a Weapon Damage enchant. For our head and shoulders, we have 2 pieces of Night Mother, both in light with max dam traded in divines, and chest, waist, hands, legs, and feet. We have 5 pieces of Hunning's Rage, all in max dam traded in divines. And for jewelry, we have 3 pieces of New Moon Acolyte jewelry, all with weapon damage enchants traded in Bloodthirsty. So for skills, we have Subterranean Assault, Cutting Dive, Growing Swarm, Deadly Cloak, Rending Slashes, Wild Guardian, Stampede, Carve, Winter's Revenge, Barbed Trap, Bullnetch, and Wild Guardian again. So for the rotation, it's going to be on a count of 5 with Subterranean Assault before that. So what I mean is Subterranean Assault, 5 skills, Subterranean Assault, 5 skills is going to be the rhythm of this rotation. We're going to start off with the Subterranean Assault, Stampede, Carve, Winter's Revenge, Barbed Trap, and Bullnetch. So basically all 5 of your back bar skills. And then you're going to swap to your front bar, cast Subterranean Assault, Growing Swarm, Deadly Cloak, Rending Slashes, and then you're going to fill the 2 other skills to hit the 5 with 2 Cutting Dives. Now this is where you can replace your ult, your Bear Wild Guardian. Whenever it's ready, just replace it for a Cutting Dive. So closing thoughts. First, I'd recommend maybe running all medium armor because of the sustain. It did seem to be a little bit of an issue. It's not that big of a deal. You can run light, but medium is what I'd recommend. So in terms of progression, I definitely work on replacing New Moon Acolyte for a set like maybe Briarheart as my first step. Briarheart is a good set and it's super easy to get considering it's overland and it's from Hrothgar. For a basic beginner setup would be Hunnings plus Briarheart and then a monster set. For this setup, I'd recommend Stormfist as the monster helm because Tempest Island on vet isn't too difficult and the monster helm hits like a truck. Next, you have the choice of replacing your Hunnings and Briarheart. From here is moving towards mid to end game. Arms of Reliquant is the MVP of stam sets and is really strong but does require running Cloud Rest, which is a trial. Running it on normal is very easy and you should work towards getting it if possible. Reliquant is a body set, meaning we need to equip 5 pieces at all times, so we need to pair it with something called a front bar set. Front bar sets, or just the best stam sets to either pair Reliquant or run separately, can be either Kinra, Pillar of Nirn, Zogvin, or Advancing Yokeda. Through that list, I think Kinra is the best option, granted you can keep the stacks. Kinra comes from the dungeon Black Drake Villa, Pillar of Nirn comes from Falkreath Hold, Advancing Yokeda comes from Halraw Citadel, and Zogvin comes from Frostfall. I'd also like to mention that Zogvin is unique in that it allows us to run different skills instead of running Trap. Next is Mythic Route and Maelstrom Arena Greatsword. Either a Greatsword or a bow from Maelstrom Arena would work just fine. Moving on to Mythics, they can be kind of a pain to get, but are some of the strongest items in the game. If I was going for a Mythic, I'd go for a 1-piece Slam Crawl Monster Helm paired with Harpooner's Wading Kilt. Harpooner's is viable for most content unit and is considered best in slot. A good alternative to Harpooners will be Death Dealer's Fate. And for monster helms, we have a few options, but Stormfist, Kjarnar, and Maul of the Inferno are my personal picks. And I think that wraps it up. That wraps up the build explanation section of this portion. If you like the Enchanted Garden, let me know. I can make a video on that too. Thank you for watching my video, and if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. If I missed anything, please point that out as well. As a reminder, if this video helped in any way, please help the channel grow by subscribing, and if you like the piggies, like the video. Feel free to stick around for an attached parse, and from now on, I'll be attaching an outfit section at the end. If neither of those interest you, thank you again for watching, and have a good day.